Loudestro.
Hey, y'all. Thanks for vibing with
CeCe and
ChiChi, where we talk about all the hot topics. So y'all already know we love our guests. We have a special one today. All of our guests are specials if you haven't noticed.
right.
We have Crystala.
Thanks for joining us, Crystala.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure.
Yeah, so we like to hear from our Vibe Squad. So just tell us anything about yourself, anything you want to share, as much or little as you want to share.
Well, I just graduated with my nurse practitioner's master's in May.
Congratulations.
And I'm preparing to take my certification so I can apply for my license. So that is where I'm at this time. But your topics on marriage, it fits in very nicely because that has allowed me not only to get a bachelor's, but my master's because I have the right husband.
Okay, well, we're gonna get into the tea, honey. We've been talking, it's been a lot of talk, but CeCe, how are you?
I'm doing good, y'all. I've been just working on my self-care,
Yes.
taking care of some things for myself. I have me a nice cold glass of Pinot Grigio
Hey, Pinot.
for the conversation. How are you feeling, ChiChi? What you got going over there? How you feeling?
Just self-care. I really just relaxed today, which I was like, why am I relaxing? I'm like, it just felt odd. You know what I'm saying? So that made me go into some of the topics today. I'm like, I just feel like I need to do something, but I really got that good chill vibe today. Margarita mix of brandy. You know me. Y'all know if I drink a little bit
you're enjoying the rest of your summer.
Facts. You know what I'm saying?
What about you?
Oh, yes, Crystal, what are you drinking?
I have a Riesling sitting here, a glass of a Riesling. I like a sweet white wine.
See? Well, cheers.
So cheers to that.
Cheers.
Yes. All right. So I know you was talking about, how you succeeded thus far by having a good marriage. So, going through some of our episodes, I know you're one of our viewers. What is one of the episodes that you vibed with? And let's talk about that.
Well, I mean, you've had Buka on a few, and Buka is somebody that we know because we actually went to Prairie View with him.
Yes.
Okay. And for me, it's sad to see somebody that is a quality person have so many problems finding the right person.
What do you think that's about?
I think people don't have their priorities right. Everybody is not marriage material.
Okay.
There's someone that I watch sometime named Dennis Prager that a lot of people may not know about, but he's Jewish, and he talked about, do you want to grow up? The question you need to ask yourself is, do you want to grow up? Marriage requires that you be an adult because you can't be selfish and be married and it survive, because you have to take care of that other person too, because if you don't take care of each other, it won't work. So if you marry someone because you like the way they look or you want what they have, that's not why you get married. You get married because you have things in common.
Interesting. So before we dig in there, how long have you been married for? So let's make sure we cover
16 years.
16 long years.
16 years.
Yes. Okay. Just want to let the Vibe Squad know a little bit of that. So, okay. So you're talking about one of our episodes, I think our 2 episodes ago.
Yeah.
So, that you mentioned that, you don't get married based on looks. I mentioned that during the interview with our guest, Mr. Buka. So he said that, well, yes, eventually you will get married based on qualities of personalities and common interests. However, initially it has to be looks or something more physical. And you come from a medical background, you know about physical assessment. So he kind of broke that down to me, and I kind of like, okay. So what do you have to say about that?
Aesthetics is important, but aesthetics is an individual thing like everything else. It could be personality. And Peter tells me that he wasn't attracted to me just because I'm a pretty face. I had a brain. He liked, I was intelligent. I had good conversation. It was more than just the way I look, but I'm married to an older man. So see, age might have something to do with that as well.
How many years, if you don't mind sharing?
He's 13 years older than me.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Okay.
the right person for you doesn't always necessarily look like what you think it does. So you always need to have an open mind. And that's what dating is about. That's one thing I feel like the younger generations don't know how to do properly is date.
Very interesting.
So, what's the proper way to go about dating from a woman that's been married and courted and all these things?
My husband cooked me dinner.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
know, they show you interest outside of the physical. And so he would invite me over, cook me dinner, and then we'd walk across the street to the sports bar. But you know, there was engagement there. You give something of yourself. A date, basically, from my generation, I'm 53 years old. Is they take you out. You go to a movie. You go to dinner.
Tell her I picked you up in a bar.
You do, yes. You talking about? Did you tell me that I picked you up in a bar? I said sports bar.
Oh, okay.
That's how y'all met. Y'all met at the
I like
bar?
sports.
Yeah.
We're watching the NBA finals. I went to watch the NBA finals at my favorite bar, and he had just moved across the street, and he came in, and I was sitting at the bar, and he asked if he could sit down.
Okay.
There was one open seat left.
You did say something. I'm not on anyone's side, you know, but I'm learning with the Vibe Squad. You know, Mr. Buka, one of our guests, he did mention that it's a first assessment. You just stated that when you met your husband of 16 years, he said he didn't fall for you just because the pretty face, but that's what drew him to you. So,
you do have to get their attention. So
okay.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But if it stays on that level, it's superficial.
Right. That's a good point to make, to clarify for the viewers.
Okay.
You don't want it to stay on that level. That's a lot of why I think one of the reasons I think people's marriages don't last. That there are many reasons. You need to get to know the person. So, you know, what are your interests? What are their interests? What are your goals? What are their goals? You need to have standards as well. But you can't grow together if you're not on the same, if you don't understand each other before you get married.
Very interesting. You are just speaking so much, and I'm just learning because one day I want to be 16 years in. So,
man, me too.
You will be.
By the grace of God. So, and you asked about standards. This is some of the talks I've been having with some Vibe Squads, and we was going to bring this up, but since you mentioned it, I want to just ask you, do you think there is something versus if I sleep with somebody in, I don't know, 2 weeks versus if I sleep with somebody in, I don't know, 90 days? Does it make a difference on how long the marriage go or no?
Expectations are important. So, I mean, one of the things with that, I feel like honestly, it's individual, but you should not too soon, because then we're dealing with their men.
Okay.
You need to show them that that's not all you're about. And sometimes I feel like women are too quick to do that, and when you are, they get the wrong impression. They don't feel like they have to do anything. You have to look at how you make yourself look. I talk to young women all the time, and the thing of it is, it could be, I wouldn't do it on the first date. You need to know each other for a while, because if it's not good, then there's nothing left.
But then that's CeCe, I'm asking a lot of questions. If it's not good, there's nothing left. But then what if I waited?
If that's what you're basing it on.
But that's important, right? Is it important?
It is important, but you have to think, when you're 90 years old, how important is that going to be?
So when you're 90 years old, do you believe, and I already know your answer, but this is one of our episodes, do you believe in hall pass for the spouse? Say your spouse, say you're 13 years younger. Would you at that age want a hall pass to go do something else at that point? Or would you want to stick with your man, baby?
By that point in time, well, even now, I wouldn't see myself going anywhere, because he supports me. You have to appreciate what you have. When you have somebody that treats you well and you don't need anything, why would you? It's just, that's greedy. To me, that's just greedy.
I see.
You know what In Vogue said, I give to the needy, not the greedy.
Oh, there you have it.
Well, I have one more question about the Buka episode. How do you feel about his stance? And some of our viewers chimed in our comments about women competing for men.
Well, he was talking about Black women, pretty much, I believe. That's how we're raised, unfortunately. But what I do is I let my belief system guide me. I'm a Christian, and the man is the head of the household.
Okay.
You need to, if you pick the right man, that's not a problem. I mean, that's my whole thing. We have that in common. And he's the man. I didn't work through nursing school and I got my bachelor's. I didn't work part of the master's. You need to we have a problem letting go of control. But you need to trust that person. To me, that can be a trust issue. A lot of it is cultural. We're raised that way. We're raised to be very strong, independent. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think that leads us to a lot of unnecessary stress.
I agree.
On some occasions, because if that's a man and you pick the right man, you don't need anything. You can sit back, and Whitney knows. We graduated from nursing school. I didn't work.
No, that's right. That's right. So, but before you and Peter got married, you would say you competed for him, right? Is that what you're saying?
You mean competing for the person?
Right. Did you have to compete to be chosen?
They need to choose. But see, the problem is you be you. That's my whole thing. You do not change for people. They're gonna find out how you are anyway. It's what they want. And that's one thing you get into issues with, is what do they want? That's a part of growing up. You have to decide. And in the end, are you going to, what do you want to do? You want to play forever, or do you want a real lasting relationship? And I will tell you, most married men that cheat do not divorce their wives.
Oh no, they're not gonna do that.
They want to play, but they're not getting a divorce though. They don't want to. You can't have it both ways. It does not work that way.
Well, then that leads us into our topics. Since we've talked about some of our previous episodes, you kind of segued us into it. What do you feel that men really require or want from their mate? What are the things, because I hear men are simple. So what are they looking for from these women? What do they need and want?
The problem is they don't know. You have to know what you want. And that goes for everybody. You really, you have to do some growing. You need to be a person. I mean, in Buka's standpoint, he's gotten a career, he's successful. He's trying to get there, but he needs to find him somebody that's on the same level he's on, or somebody he can grow with if they're not. But it should never be about what you have. And that's the problem these days. And it goes, men do the same thing too. I mean, back in my day, you had girls buying men, spending all this money on a man. I said, I would never do that.
So Priscilla, what would you say that your husband, what does he want from you? What are the things that he looks for you to show up with and have? Is it your kindness? Is it your femininity?
And for him, to me, it was my loyalty and my basically, I met him when he had nothing. He wasn't even working when I met him, and I took a chance on him, and I've stuck with him through times when money was tight. You have, finances are an issue. Finances can be a serious issue, but nothing is going to be good all the time. If something is working, like they say when you get married, for richer or for poor.
That's right.
For better, for worse, for richer, for, they mean that. Because things are not going to be good all the time. You have to be able, you have to persevere some things. And you work your way through it, and you come out with a much better, stronger relationship. But if you aren't willing to suffer at all, to go through things with somebody, you don't grow. That's a lot of times that's how you grow closer.
That is
so going through hardship.
Yes, that is so deep, because I can relate to some of that thing. And then it's about that struggle. Like when you're struggling, like nobody knows what's happening, behind closed doors. but only you and your spouse know. And when you stick with that person and vice versa, it's nothing. So that's why I'm so confident. It's nothing that somebody gonna throw in front of the spouse that's gonna shake them. Because are you loyal? Will you sit with me when I have no money? Nah, then nah. If it's tots, I got tots. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, I think it is dealing with the hardship, dealing with the struggle, being loyal that makes that foundation strong. So that
you build something together. My husband has been willing to invest in me as well. So has yours. That's important. You have goals. He has goals. You both need to have goals. I think it's very difficult for a relationship to be successful when one person is very ambitious and the other person has no goals at all. They just want to wait tables. But you want to be a physician. That just does not, you're not going in the same direction. You have to, that's what I said, you have to really decide what you want, because later it becomes a problem because you want to keep moving up and they don't have any, they have no personal ambition at all. That can be a separator in the long run, because they're not growing.
Right.
You both need to grow.
Yeah. So
and it's not about money. It's about your personal growth. Money just comes with that a lot of time. But when you strive to increase in your career and grow, money's going to come with that at some point in time. But you both need to be individuals. Just because you're married, you're still a person. My husband's a whole different, just like Chitty, Peter's in a whole different career than I am. Peter's IT.
Right.
And he has continued to grow as we've been married. Because he needed to move, we moved.
So how do you grow individually and then also grow together? Is it the foundation that allows you to do that? Because a lot of people grow apart. They say we grew out of love and all this stuff.
You talk about it before you get married. Before me and Peter ever even got to that point, I let him know. I was pre-farm before I went to nursing school. It just isn't the door that God opened for me. But Whitney can tell you my pharmacology knowledge is on point. I'm as knowledgeable with meds as a pharmacist is. It's just not the door he opened. But my husband was there. He supported me. He knew before he married me, this is what I want to do. I was in community college when he met me. I was about to graduate. So that was my first step. But he knew. I let him know I have goals. I want to move on. And once pharmacy didn't work, I said, okay, my mom's like, you'd always make a great nurse. I said, okay, my thing is I want to take care of people. He supported me in everything I want, in my personal goals. I've dated people before I dated someone. I was in my 20s. It was all about them. He told me what makes you think you'll graduate. So do not think, you have to think about that.
And I hear you clearly, because it sounds like support is an important element in selflessness, being selfless and not being selfish, but being able to be open to give to that person what they need to be filled and vice versa.
And it's not going to be when you want to. You have to be, they're going to give to you. One-sided relationships don't work. You can't have one person giving and the other person just taking. There has to be some balance. And sometimes some people need less than others. Some people need more. There are times when they need things. Men really, they want you. They're different. They want you to admire them. They want you to think highly of them. But they have to be admirable too. See, people want a lot of things.
Right.
But what are you doing? And that's anybody. Everybody needs to ask themselves
that's all of us.
What are you doing to deserve what you want? To earn what you want from somebody else. If you can't give, you shouldn't get.
Say it louder for the people in the back. What are you doing to get the things that you want? How are you earning these things?
And that is not just your career, that is with relationships, regardless of the relationship it is. It could be your parents, your your siblings, but especially in a romantic relationship, because once you marry somebody, you leave that. They're your family.
Mhm. And
You know,
that
my mom stopped bothering me when I got with Peter. I kind of knew he was the right one because she stopped worrying about me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she'll come by my house. She came by last night. She lives about 10 minutes away, but she came by for that
Good.
curry go.
yeah.
Oh, no, that's right.
Yes.
What
And
were you
I
gonna say,
But that's
ChiChi?
important.
Yeah, I did hear that love is not just when it's convenient for you. Someone truly loves you when they do things that's inconvenient for them.
It's
So
when it's
yes,
real inconvenient,
real
when it's
inconvenient,
something they wouldn't do for nobody else.
nobody else. And when you see that, you know, you need to gravitate. Those are the things that I look for. When you do things out of your way, I'm like, yep, I think I got I'm gonna be loyal to this one.
You might be the one.
Yeah.
So to get into our last topic, okay, so as a Black woman, we're all Black women. Do you feel like Black women or we as women are too hard on our men?
Well, we have a few things. First, my husband is not Black. My husband is Greek.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, I'm an individual. Wouldn't even tell you that I'm me, and I have to be me. And one of the issues, I think, expectations on both sides can be kind of skewed because we are strong. I mean, I think there's maybe my uncle is like the only man. Is all women. Part of it comes from being raised around predominantly women. We do have a tendency, I feel, to raise women to be men and baby the boys. That's role reversal. You can't do that. It's very conflicting. And it's very hard, even though you're Christian, you have certain values. When you're used to you're raised to be what the opposite sex is meant to be, what the man is meant to be. It's hard to get past that. That's a lot of the problem to me, because Black women are raised to be men. I tell somebody on many occasions, I'm more man than some men will ever be. Because I was raised that way, but I'm able to. I have a man. I have a man that is the man. I don't have to worry about things. He'll take my car, get my oil change. I don't even have to. You know, he does that on his own. He behaves like the man.
That's the key right there. He behaves like a man, so you don't have to be hard on him in that way.
But his mama raised him that way, so you know, and his mom let his dad do what he needed to do. So we have some role reversal issues with how we raise. Because I mean, I've seen people be really hard, Black women be really hard on their daughter, and then their son, they're like, "Hey, baby," I'm like, "Really? Come on now." That's not, you know, that he does not have a chance when you're more man than he is, because his mom has babied him too much. That to me, it creates a lot of the problem. They don't know how.
You know, that's very interesting because I think, is it not that the mom is babying the boy? It's just that maybe that mom-son relationship is just like a unique relationship, especially when it's like your only son. You're just like, oh, my little baby, whatever.
But he needs to be a man. Black women have a tendency to be harder on their daughters than they are on their sons, and that is backwards.
But is it also, and I don't know, the hardness, is it also because ladies have, like, a man can do something and not get pregnant, just for instance, whatever, or be okay because they're men, so there's less, I don't know if it's less, but it's because there's different things that can occur to men too. But you know, a man is a man and they're living stronger, and it's less people. It's like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, it's like looking at a lion and looking at, I don't know, a snail type deal. So we just think, I don't know, think the man is gonna be stronger, they're gonna be okay type thing. But it's your girl that there's, you know, they're fragile and stuff like that. So you just try to mentally get them stronger, because that's not, I don't know how to explain it. Just get them stronger to kind of like, don't let other men try them or something.
It's overdone now, because if you got to be in control of everything, there's an issue there. There's no room there for the man to be the man when you want to run everything. You have to, you need to let go. You need to learn to let go. If you had a right person, and then the fact of the matter, if you can't do that, then that's not the right person.
No, I definitely feel like the ladies should definitely let the man lead and things like that. I'm just thinking about raising kids, and I feel like this is a different relationship when it's like a mother and a son at that initial young stage. I'm not talking about grown man.
No, I'm talking about when they hit a certain age. When they're young, yes. You know, you have to, that parallel and that perpendicular relationship. That women don't raise men. That's the issue. Women don't raise men. Men raise men. That man needs to man him up because he needs to be able to take charge. You can get, I know some very strong women. I had a great aunt that was 102 years old, and she was a police officer. She was the first Black police officer in Galveston. When my uncle looked at her, she shut up. If she was talking and she was out of control, all he had to do was look at her. And she would be quiet. That's what I'm talking about. The right man can check you and nobody else can.
Yes, I believe it. Yeah. Yeah, because it's interesting. As one of my close friends said, because, you know, like I said, I'm different at home, I'm different outside of home. He was like, dang, this guy, because he finally met my husband, like, this guy's the one that can really, you know, that really, you listen to him, huh? Because outside of school, I'm like, you know, president this, leading this, you know, this, and this.
Yes, but I know you.
Yeah, you know, so then to see that, oh, this man is the person I listen to, I'm like, what do we do next? What's the plan? What we doing? So he's like, oh, so they look at that person like, wow, you must be some type of man, you know, type deal.
Yes, he is. And Peter tell me, hey, you don't do that, or you shouldn't. Because they're not going to just speak to you idly. They're not doing things to bring you down or to belittle you.
That's not
it. They don't want to see you get yourself into trouble because you need to back it up some.
And it may be very silent, like you said. It may even be an eye.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much, Crystala, because this insight has been so helpful, so beneficial, very high level. It gave me a lot to think about, very timely. Did you want to add
one other thing? Let them chase you.
Okay.
Let them chase you. Make them open doors and take you to, you know, let them make them work for it. That's one of the issues with having sex too early, is that takes away from them working for it. A lot of them like that chase. They like to be dominant.
I agree, and I want them to be dominant, be masculine, play your role.
Right.
I can play mine.
Exactly.
Yes.
Me.
Okay, exactly.
I'm playing that.
So silly.
But yes, Crystala, thank you so much for sharing all of this wisdom, sharing all of these gems for us. Thank you for taking your time to come speak with us today. Thank you for being a viewer, commenting. We really appreciate you. Vibe Squad, of course, for all of our viewers that has not subscribed yet, please subscribe. Go ahead, subscribe. We have a show every Saturday. Show us support. If you're vibing with CeCe and ChiChi, don't leave this show today without subscribing. Subscribe and turn your notification on. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it, y'all. Vibing out. Until next time.
Bye.
Loudest drawer.